This is Entertainment Roundup for Saturday, the 13th of July, 2013. I'm J77, and got a couple of stories I want to touch on. But first, I might as well start with sports because, as you guys know, we are now approaching All-Star Week. In fact, the festivities have already happened in New York. About Friday, Dwight Gooden and John Franco was in attendance on the special autograph day. A lot of festivity was going on there. Fox and Company was doing their little thing with the All-Star games, being a little less than a few days away. NSNY also doing some coverage, so a lot of hype is being built on the All-Star game, and for lots of reason. It's being placed in Citi Field, first time that ever happened in a National League New York ballpark in quite some time, and so a lot of people is gearing up. Even the Yankee store was selling All-Star memorabilia. And so far, things are looking up and up. As for the teams itself, this is pretty much my feeling on this. I'm not that excited for the All-Star game, maybe because it lost its luster for me years ago. I know they try to bring it back with whoever wins the All-Star game, whether National League or American League. They will have home field advantage for the World Series. That may fine and dandy, but if your team is already out of it, I don't think it really matters. But for the long run, if I watch it, it probably be because a friend of mine is watching it, and I pretty much am forced to sit there and watch with them. All-Star games really doesn't matter to me. I'm more concerned about my teams, my New York teams, and that is the Yankees and the Mets. Being a Yankee fan, I'm going to start with them first because they had a very, very bumpy ride. They're right now sharing fifth place, I believe. No, actually fourth place. I'm sorry. Second to last over Toronto, who was 44 and 48. Right now, the Yankees, as they stand, is 51 and 42, 9 games above 500. And I'm going to tell you right now, with all the injuries they've been having, with the struggling to get wins, and the fact is that you have a lot of teams who are younger and also better than them. The fact that they had a 51 and 42 record, possibly having at least one more win before heading to the All-Star week, which put them pretty much 10 games above 500. It's amazing within itself, because let's face it, if you look at the injuries they've been having, all the stuff that was going on, both on the field and behind the field, this team could have easily been 10 or 15 games behind 500, and in last place in their division. So the fact that they're actually still fighting for that third and last wild card, which I'm not too fond of, but that's a different story. The fact that they are still within those teams' limit, because like I said, if you take a look at all the teams, Boston has a 57 and 37 as I'm speaking. Tampa Bay has a 53 and 41. Baltimore has 52 and 42. Then you go down to Central. There is Detroit at 51 and 41. Cleveland, as we speak right now, 49 and 44. You have the West, where Oakland is 54-38, and Texas is 53 and 40. All those teams right there, and yet the Yankees are right there with them. Battling it out for a chance to go in the playoff and perhaps go in the World Series. Do I think the Yankees have any chance of making the playoff? I'll tell you right now, I don't. I don't think they do. But the fact that they're still in there, especially after all they went through this year, really says something about the managerial job that Joe Girardi has. And there's been some ups and downs with him, with the fans, since he have taken over the role with Joe Torre. But for the most part, he has kept this team focused. He has kept this team, on a straight and narrow in terms of, doing what they got to do on the field. And to me, that alone, that says a lot about his managerial skills. And I gotta say that he's so far have done a good job this year, despite all the situations that has been given him. Let's be honest, the Yankees, who are used to spending a lot of money, getting a lot of players, did not do that this year. In fact, they've been scaling back, and that pretty much reminded a lot of people that this is not George Steinbrenner. The late George Steinbrenner is gone. He's long gone. This is his kids. The kids that is running the team now, his family members, are not too keen to spend the big bucks, especially when there's really nothing out there that will appease them. And rightfully so. There's a lot of contracts that I think they're not too happy about. Love to get rid of them, but they can't. A-Rod is one of them. But they are what they are right now. They're stuck with the team they got. And right now, despite being battered and bruised and pretty much limping through each game, getting a win and staying above water, they're still in the mix of things, which I'm actually happy with. Now, do I think they're gonna make the playoff again? No, I don't. But you know what? At least they're there. And as for the Mets, their report card, it's kind of funny. When I was watching the scoreboards, and I was watching how the Mets was performing, despite all their problems, they actually had played much better than I actually expected them to be, and that's saying a lot because right now their record is 40-49. You could have easily made a case they could have been 10 games, 14 games above under 500, or 20 games under 500, and in fact there were cases where I thought there was going to be 20 or 30 games above under 500, but yet they are still showing signs that they still want to compete. And I gotta say this seemed to be a pattern with the Mets the last few years, not this year. The last few years, they always are competing in the first half and then collapse in the second half. They're always within the mix, always above 500, and then the next thing you know, they stop hitting, they stop pitching well, and the next thing you know, they have another disappointing season. This is a 1 year that they didn't have that good first half. They had a very struggling first half, but in the last few weeks, they've been really turning it on, winning games, winning series, winning 3 in a row, 4 in a row. Just yesterday, as I'm speaking, as this is being recorded, they lost in extra innings. So there's definitely something there. There's definitely some talent that says if they continue doing this pattern and continue to get better and better, that they can have a very strong second half where you can actually see them compete. And I hope they do compete because I'm getting a little tired of seeing them be, good but not good enough. I actually want to see them compete and make some noise in the National League. They have a lot of teams to catch up with, of course. Atlanta is one of them, which seems to find a flair. St. Louis, hell, Pittsburgh, which has surprised me. I almost forgot they was actually having a winning record this year. They have a 3-way tie with first place with Cincinnati. Arizona. But if you look at all the teams, it's not a possibility that they can actually sneak back in there and actually make this into an actual pennant race where we may see the Mets and the other teams that I mentioned compete. But it's really up to him. I do know one thing. If they don't make the playoff, if they have another losing record, Terry Collins is gone. And you know what? There's no excuse. They gave him 2 full seasons. They're obviously going to give him a full season here. He needs to get results. If he doesn't get results, that's it. It's gone. I think I'm getting a little tired of seeing WFAN smash him down, especially Mike Francesa, which, by the way, he brings up good points. But this is the one time I'm actually saying, okay, there are 9 games under 500 now. They could be either 11 games under 500 as this video is going to be placed in after Monday hits, or they could actually be 8 games under 500 or 7 games under 500. If that's the case, that's not too bad, especially if they can actually make it a run, a very strong run in the second half, which is something they have not done. So those are my feelings on the 2 New York teams here, and I'm hoping, for the most part, that the 2 New York teams do well in the second half. My only guess is neither one of them will make the playoffs. I don't see the Yankees being strong enough to make that last playoff spot, which is the 3rd place spot. But I do see them finishing pretty much a moderate 85, 86 win season if they manage to stay above water. They can easily finish under 500. Let's just hope they actually have enough not to do that. But if they finish in that record, then you know what? For all the injuries that it's worth, I'll take it. And let's start rebuilding. Let's start getting some younger guys because you know what? It's long overdue. We need to get younger. We need to get more better pitching, and we need to be faster and more smarter in terms of hitting the ball because this has been known as a home run hitting team. They hit for power, and I just don't see that with this team anymore. I don't even think Yankee fans see that with the team anymore. But that's my own opinion on the matter. I'd like to hear your opinion on that, both Yankee fans and Mets fans. But most importantly, I'd like to hear what your team, if you're not a Yankee fan or Mets fan, if you're a Cincinnati fan or any kind of sports fan, what's your feeling on your personal team, the team you follow, the team you love? Put in the comment section, let me know, especially what you expect from them heading towards the second half of the season. It should be an exciting second half because there are a lot of teams I did not expect to see compete this year, and it's definitely kind of curious as to how that will how that will end up. Who's going to make it and who's not. Last season was the same thing. I was curious of who's going to make it, who's not. This is no different than last year. Only now I see Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's not going away. All right, let's get to some more serious news. I got a couple here. I might as well talk about this news here. Is involving the Queens of King actress, the main actress, whose name seems every time I look at it, I can't seem to pronounce it right. Leah Remini, I believe that's how she pronounced it. If I said it wrong, I do apologize, but I'm just going to say Kings of Queen actress. You guys know what I'm talking about. I will leave a link below. This is a story that broke out a few days ago, and my initial feeling when I heard this is this doesn't shock me, and the only reason why we're hearing this is because it's a celebrity and not no ordinary Joe. It says here that that the King of Queen actress have quit Scientology after years of interrogation. This stems from the fact that she actually have asked one of the head leaders a question as to the whereabouts of his wife. That was after the fact that in the wedding, which was according to the article that's standing in front of me, she had confronted when the Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise was getting married, and he asked where his wife was. According to the report, his wife was absent and has been kept out of sight at the Scientology facility near Lake Arrowhead. Now, after the wedding, the church authorized reports in which she have criticized this person, which goes by the name of Miss Carvivis, kind of weird name, and his leadership. In the years that followed, the actress and her family was reportedly subject to repeated questioning and hospitality. And it's also said that she was even blacklisted. There was also reports, which I don't know if this is actually true or not, these are just reports, that there was either a case of reprogramming, which that alone pretty much sends shivers down my spine when I hear that. But after all this happened, after all the interrogations and pretty much harsh treatment, the actress decided to, you know what, I'm gone, I have enough of this. Now, this is not the first time, as you all know, that Scientology has been on the front page, and it seems to be more hit towards the celebrities who choose this type of lifestyle. Now, before I even go any further here, I don't care what lifestyle any actor or actress choose to go by, nor anyone else, for that matter. If you believe in Scientology, fine, I hope it works out for you. If you believe in Christianity, fine, I hope that works out for you. Same thing go with Muslims, same thing go with Buddhists, same thing go with Catholic, same thing go with Jewish. Whatever works for you, whatever makes you a better person, that's fine by me. However, I have to stress this, and this also goes for myself, it goes for anyone who especially has who feels that has that high position of power. Politicians, priests, ministers, imam, you name it. If they get a hissy fit from you questioning some of the stuff they said or some of how their behavior is, and they start doing things such as making your family uncomfortable to the point where they're even stalking you, interrogating you, putting you subjects of different treatments in order to be seen in a positive light, if they're putting you down just to make themselves look good, then maybe it's best to you to move away from that guy, because that guy can be nothing but trouble. Also, I'm like this: if a person feels I shouldn't question them at all, and he feels he's always right and never wrong, I don't want to be around that person. That person scares me, and he may actually put me in a situation that it can cost me not only my freedom, but my life or my family's lives. These guys are dangerous. Those who don't think they're never wrong and never can do no harm, and they think they're better than God himself, are dangerous in my opinion. And I stay clear from these guys, because these guys can lead me down the wrong path. I have seen it with politicians. I've seen how they act. I've even seen it with ministers. Those who I haven't talked to, and mine to this day don't understand. Mine from my father's side, that is, do not understand why I don't talk to them. There's a reason why, because they did something wrong and they never owned up to it. They never admitted how wrong they were, especially when it affected the church in such a negative way. this can be no different. And the thing that crazes me, that bothers me, is that this is not a second time this person came up, and this is not the second time that Scientology is looked in a negative light. And I'm kind of wondering, is the others who was involved in this church, especially one that was Tom Cruise and the King of Queenstown has been, don't you think it'd be wise for the people who was also within that circle to say, hey, look, man, stop this crap now. You're hurting us. You're hurting our image. People are looking at us in negative light. That's not what we do things. Or they are afraid of this guy. They don't want to talk about it. 'Cause keep in mind, if you have too many yes guys and they're afraid to step on the guy's toes, they will pretty much always agree with what they have to say. And those are the kind of guys that will definitely do more harm than good. With that, also, why are they interrogating? This is out of curiosity. Why are they interrogating her in the first place? They're not cops. You're not law enforcement, so that don't even make any sense. Just like they didn't make any sense when Katie Holmes, when it was in New York, and it was reports flying all over the place that the people from the Scientology church was actually following her, taping her, recording her every movement. Why? And how come Tom Cruise didn't get involved in that? And that's the thing that I think that the people who's in at that church, especially the ones that celebrities seem to go to, need to start reviewing and start saying, hey, look, enough of this. Stop this. This is not what we're all about. We are putting us in a negative light. Those who see us as something of a cult, you're feeding into what they feel that what we are and that is, and we're not that. We're not that at all. But it's really up to the leadership at hand. And from what I'm seeing so far, it's not a coincidence the second time it happened. And maybe the leadership of that Scientology church, especially that church in general, need to start to step in and start saying, hey, look, cut this out. All right, you got to stop this. All right, you're not making anything. You're not making us any better. All right, and again, I say this, I can't stress it enough. If a person's gonna get that much of a hissy fit for answering a question, which, in my honesty, I don't think that's the only thing that happened, because for me, for him to get that upset for her asking where his wife was, where all he could say is she's not going to be available at the time, she's probably coming later, or say this is a personal matter, I don't want to get into it, I think probably is not the best person to run a church in general. That's just me. Because that kind of guy is kind of dangerous, who and will use his political power just to show how dangerous he really is. And I something about that guy, something about him, and how these two reports from Katie Holmes about a few months ago, almost a year ago, and this one seemed to project that. But I'll leave that for you guys to comment on. I'd like to hear your opinion on that. And I'm now moving on to the next story, which is also a very serious topic. And that is the NSA and Microsoft. Like I said, I'm going to say before I can continue here, I am not a computer whiz. I'm only expressing my opinion, a very concern of what has been going on the last few weeks, especially with Microsoft pretty much dropping the ball on Xbox One. And now this has pretty much been revealed that Xbox has been working very closely with the NSA in terms of giving information, crucial information to our gaming, our video making, who we talk to in Skype, inbox, any emails in general. And the way, from what I understand, I know Review Tech USA have mentioned this, the Young Turks have mentioned this, a lot of people who have followed this have mentioned this. This kind of stuff is pretty much paranoia at its worst, that's one. And two, really the government just really overstepping their bounds in what they call the name of protecting us from terroristic threats. It's kind of funny how they seem to always bring that up, when the reality is, when the last few years, the people who show more hate are the people who's actually in office. I'm just saying that from the last 2 years, I've seen more hate mongering from my politicians. I've heard more hate mongering from people who were supposed to be these smart news radio jockeys who goes on the radio, but instead spew more hate and divide the people, whether it's by race or just by political views. You know who I'm talking about when I mention that. And yet they seem to be, we got to protect the people from terrorist threats. So let's take everybody's personal personal information, doesn't matter what they are, collected, and see what we can find just to make sure nobody's doing anything else. To me, it just goes to show just how much of a world we live in right now when it comes to this situation. Like I said, Microsoft has been on the defensive, saying that we never did this, even though the documents are pretty much concrete right now, unless Microsoft have a logical explanation of where that's coming from. A lot of people want to, say that that the people who have actually revealed this document is a traitor, which they're not. First of all, I agree with the Turks on 100% on what they said, that first of all, terrorists know when they're pretty much being recorded. They do. I mean, they're not that ungullible. They know that there's chances on they're being recorded, they're being watched. They're not stupid. They know that we have the technology on their fingertips, and the fact that you have the NSA just basically found a way to go around our rights in terms of freedom of privacy, but it's doing it in such a way where it's basically they don't care who they have to step on. And you have these governments, you have these corporations, and let's get this clear. I want to make this very clear. Corporations want favoritism from a lot of politicians, but at the same time, the government wants something in return. If we're gonna do favors from you, you gotta do something for us. And by the way, we want that information. And you think Microsoft's gonna say no, knowing that their hand could be cut off in terms of what they want in office? They ain't gonna do that. They're gonna cooperate. Same thing with Google. Can somebody please explain why Google still needs our real name to use a network? What's wrong with our username? It's there for a reason. That's not a coincidence that they're doing it. I'm not buying that they want to do better service. You can do just as good service with the way things are. If you want to do better service, stop changing your your damn site every 6 months. It's annoying. All right, and it's making the matters worse, not better. But I'm going a little off topic there. But this is a situation that's going on. Our privacy is slowly being removed, where the point is we don't have any privacy anywhere. Not our phones, not our emails, not even the video making or blog. Everything is up for grabs with the NSA, and to me, I'm 100% with High Tech with Review Tech USA. They can use that against us any time and say, "Oh well, we found this phone call. Here it is." And if you think politicians ain't immune to this, you're wrong. Because if anybody who work closely with NSA wants some dirt and the NSA can get it, they will get it. There's no question about it. There's no safeguard against that. And this is why I think a lot of people were more teed off with Microsoft, because Microsoft got caught. They were the one that got caught. But I'm guaranteed they're not the only one. If you think PlayStation and all of these guys aren't, working something under the table, you're dead wrong. They're just the one that got caught when their name got mentioned. And let's be honest, that Connect thing, when it's on 24 hours a day, yeah, that only reinforced people's worries and disgust with Microsoft right now. But I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I will leave an article. I'm not reading the whole article right here. I'm just going to avoid my opinion. I will leave the article so you guys can read yourself. Love to hear your comments on it. And I'm going to move right on from there. Last report of the day. And if you're a James Bond fan, you guys probably are happy to hear the news that Sam Mendes will be returning to direct the 24th James Bond, which is due to be released in the U.S. on November of 2015. Yes, it's a 3-year gap, which I don't particularly mind about it, especially if it gives it time to properly flush out the script, properly flush out the overall plot, and give time for the actors to really come to terms, get everything set up, and set up the rush job, which, let's be honest, the new James Bond series does not need. So anybody's complaining about, it's 2 years, it's no longer 2 years, it's messed up, I gotta wait. Hey, look, you can wait 3 years, okay? It's not that long as you think, especially how the James Bond team has been handled lately. I guarantee you they're going to be showing some clips. I guarantee they're going to have some kind of press conference. And before you know it, Bond is back in the big screen. Yeah, this is a very interesting news for a lot of reasons. One, Sam Mendes already came out a few months ago saying he will not direct another James Bond film. And that's largely because he had a very strenuous schedule. He's actually working in theaters. I believe he's actually doing a Charles and the Chocolate Factory adaptation. He's been doing a whole lot of stuff, and he said that pretty much that it's highly unlikely that he can take that role, and he basically turned down that role. Then came the weird reports that the Barbara Broccoli and her brother, her half brother Michael G. Wilson, was actually going to wait for him, which was kind of weird. It was kind of interesting because they don't normally wait that long. Normally they already pick a director and they already keep things in motion. But no, they basically, reports came out and said they want to wait for him. They was very impressed by his directing. He had one of the most successful Bond movies of all time. Pretty much the most successful box office grossing Bond film, period. Skyfall grossed $1.1 million. And that pretty much enticed them to make him come back. That pretty much enticed them to say, let's bring him back. Sorry about that. And that was the news going in. It was back and forth saying that they are still going to wait for him. They're going to wait for him for a really long time. Many fans was pretty much on the fence about that. They said you can't wait too long, or you're going to lose Pierce. They're going to lose Daniel Craig. Going to lose all the cast that's already been put in order. Just find a new director. Well, obviously, they have worked something out. According to the reports, they actually worked around his schedule. They actually worked around him actually doing what he got to do, while at the same time having it open for him to actually direct the film, the new Bond film, which has yet to have a title. And before you know it, it was announced on Thursday that Sam Mendes will be returning to direct the new Bond film. So what's my feeling on this? What's my overall feeling on this particular report? I am happy for a lot of reasons. One, Sam Mendes, who directed Skyfall, already has a feel, a vision of where he wants James Bond to go next. Two, this is the first time in a very long time we have the same director directing a Bond film back to back. I'm not talking about a gap. I'm talking about, okay, he did this film a few years later. He's doing the next Bond film. The last one was John Glenn. He was the one who directed Octopussy. He's the one who directed View to a Kill, Living Daylights, License to Kill. He did 4 Bond films back to back to back to back. We haven't had that kind of director. I know Campbell, who directed Casino Royale, and also GoldenEye, have done 2, but he never did it back to back. Other directors have done Tomorrow Never Dies, The World's Not Enough, and Die Another Day. Those are done by 3 different directors. This is the first time we have a director to actually do another Bond film after he has finished that previous Bond film he have done. So it's pretty much as well structured, especially for the actors who has a good feel of what he wants, what the actors can do, and for the most part, it actually gives a more strong structure as to where this movie is going to take forward. Now, will that mean his other team will come back? That's to remain to be seen. I don't know. I'm assuming he is, especially the composer, which I'm pretty much still on the fence. Let me see what he does with the next Bond film. I'm still kind of missing David Arnold. I think he was actually the closest thing that actually done to the late John Barry in terms of giving the theme. Not to say that Newman was bad, but I didn't really feel the Bond theme in that movie. I didn't really feel it. It was very, very forgettable. It's kind of weird because I do have the soundtrack, but it's not something that that reeks Bond to me. Well, maybe in this movie, if he does come back, because it may be possible that he doesn't come back, but from what I'm understanding, that Mendes liked to use him a lot in this movie, so there's a pretty good 80% chance that he may come back. Let's see how that works in, and most importantly, let's see where this Bond takes forward. Will there be another new story, fresh and new, or will this be, for a lot of reasons, a lot of people is actually spurring up these rumors that the next Bond film will be a remake of Dr. No. I don't see them doing the Dr. No route. I can understand why people will think that, because if you go back to the beginning of Dr. No, where Bond is meeting M, get his assignment, it felt like M just got there. Remember, he was saying that, keep in mind, ever since I took over MI operations, there have been a slight few drops in double casualties. I like to keep it that way. So it made me get the impression that, okay, he has just took over his office. He's not the old M from what I kind of expected. He's also kind of new, and we just basically brushed it off. Now, that's not to say they're going to go that route. I seriously doubt it, but I actually want to see how the new M is going to be portrayed. And so far, from the ending theme, I actually like how they're doing it. He captured Bernard Lee's fine. It's kind of funny how Voldemort, which I'm gonna be very honest with you. As a Harry Potter fan, you guys may hate me for this. I didn't care for that Voldemort. I really didn't. I didn't picture him as Voldemort. But Ralph Fiennes, he's a great actor. I'm actually was very, very happy they got him to play that role and actually replace Judi Dench, who will be forever missed in the James Bond franchise. She have done a tremendous job, both with the Pierce Brosnan and the Daniel Craig reboot. But if anybody who can replace her and bring a new sense of dimension to M is Robert Fiennes. I actually really am looking forward to see him come back. I hope they're smart enough to sign him on for other Bond films, because I really want to see how he plays the role of M. And I hope they don't fall back on M, because I think the one thing that really helped Judi Dench as her portrayal as M is they gave her more to do. It's particularly with the one director who I think they don't give too much credit for. They really don't. It's the director who directed The World Is Not Enough. That's when M really became part of the story, and she has really became that part of the story ever since then. From World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day, Casino Royale, Quantum. As a matter of fact, it was just more of her story as it is was Bond. It seemed like they were both linked to the situation that was befalling them, and I hope they continue that in some form. Not the way they did it with Judi Dench, but the way they're gonna do it with this new character. Because when they met for the first time as as boss an employee, it really did fit. It really did felt like this is the way it's supposed to end, and they did it right. And I hope they actually do that with the characters. Moneypenny, a little bit mixed on that one. I don't know if Harry's going to come back. If she does, that's great. That's fine. I'm assuming she is. There are a lot of people a little bit pretty much mixed with the chemistry between the two. I say give it some time. I think after a while you probably get used to the feeling of those two. Keep in mind she is a co-star. She's not going to just be in every scene. But for the most part, I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to give Q a chance. I think Q is more of a computer geek than I actually was hoping for. But the guy did a good job. Let's see how they work it out. It can only go up from here. If it goes down, you know something was wrong. Overall, Sam Mendes is back. I'm happy that he's back. I'm hoping that he takes the strength that he did with this movie, implemented the movie, and I hope that he actually worked out some of the mistakes, because there are some things that people was not happy about. The silhouette fight scene was one of them. I think people did not like the silhouette fight scene too much. I know that Honest Trailers have made fun of that a little bit, which was kind of hilarious. See Bond fight in the dark, see the villain walk in the dark. So they actually made fun of that a little bit. But overall, I still enjoyed the film. It was one of the better Bond films we had in a long time. So hopefully he takes not everything that everybody said, because some of them are just nitpicking, but takes the ones that is really like, yeah, this should have been done better. Let me work it out here and just move forward. But most importantly, let's have another good Bond film. A lot of people are pumped up for it. A lot of people can't wait for it. And on 2015, Bond will return to the big screen. Sam Mendes behind the director chair, Daniel Craig playing Bond. That's pretty much it. I believe all articles that I've just talked about down below. You guys can read it, comment on it, give me your take on it. I'd like to know what you guys feel about it. But until next time, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.